Think you know everything about love and basketball? You're about to find out how wrong that is. This film hides secrets that will completely change how you watch it. Secret real-life romances, Olympic athletes who almost got the lead, a brutal MPAA fight, and a university rejection that reshaped the entire movie. 15 revelations are coming, and we saved the most jaw-dropping one for last. A deleted scene almost nobody knows about that would have rewritten everything. Lock in, because the list starts now. Number 1, secret romance fooled everyone. There's on-screen chemistry, and then there's the real thing. When Sanaa, Lathan, and Omar Epps walked into their audition for Love and Basketball, director Gina Prince-Bythewood was floored by the sparks between them. She assumed it was two talented actors doing their jobs. She was wrong. They had already been secretly dating for over a year before a single frame was shot. Their relationship started on the set of The Wood in 1999, where Lathan played Epps's love interest, and the feelings didn't stop when cameras turned off. By the time Love and Basketball casting began, they were serious, and they made a deliberate decision to keep it hidden from everyone in production. Epps later explained why. He worried the relationship could color how Prince-Bythewood viewed Lathan's audition, and he wanted her cast on merit alone. So they played it cool throughout the entire process. Prince-Bythewood would later recall being touched by how Omar kept showing up to support Sanaa during grueling basketball training sessions, thinking it was just a kind co-star gesture. She had no idea she was watching a boyfriend cheer on his girlfriend. The truth only came out once filming had begun. By then, Lathan had already earned the role. The irony couldn't be sharper. A movie about childhood sweethearts falling in love was being filmed by two people genuinely in love behind the scenes. That kind of authenticity simply cannot be manufactured. Number 2, real scar rewrote the script. One of Love and Basketball's most memorable early moments, young Monica getting shoved down and left with a facial scar, feels like perfect storytelling. But it wasn't written that way. The scene was completely rewritten because of something on Sanaa Lathan's actual face. Prince-Bythewood's original script called for a more dramatic childhood injury, a broken nose or lost tooth when Quincy knocked Monica down. Then the team noticed Lathan carried a real, subtle scar on her cheek from her own life. Instead of covering it with makeup, Prince-Bythewood made a bold call. She rewrote the scene so the fictional injury matches Lathan's actual mark exactly. That decision created something you can't fake. Audiences aren't watching movie makeup, they're seeing a real scar. The fictional injury and the real one became the same thing. The scar also functions as a quiet symbol throughout the film, a permanent reminder etched into Monica's face of that first painful encounter with Quincy. It works on multiple levels precisely because it started with reality, not fiction. If you are enjoying this, take 2 seconds and leave a like. Subscribe if you want more videos like this. That support really motivates my work and helps a lot with bringing more content. Number 3, Olympic sprinter almost starred. Among the more than 700 people who auditioned for Monica Wright was Marion Jones, the Olympic sprinter preparing for her dominant 2000 Sydney Games performance. At the time, she was one of the fastest women alive and brought the kind of athletic credibility most actresses simply couldn't offer. Prince-Bythewood had seen too many sports films where the athletic sequences looked fake. Jones had the physicality and the presence, but her background was track and field, not basketball. Skills like footwork, ball handling, and court awareness take years to develop, and the gap was significant. The audition also predated Jones's devastating fall. When she eventually admitted to doping and was sentenced to prison, Prince-Bythewood reflected it was painful to watch, especially given how inspiring Jones had been when she walked through that casting door. The role went to Lathan, but Jones's presence in that room is a reminder of how different this film could have looked. Number 4, Gabrielle Union's brutal rejection. Gabrielle Union walked into her audition radiating confidence, and she had every reason to. She had spent years as a varsity point guard in high school, understood the culture from the inside, and was convinced the role of Monica had been written for someone exactly like her. She even wore her basketball clothes to the audition. What happened next became one of the more ironic casting rejections in Hollywood history. Prince-Bythewood looked at Union and delivered a blunt verdict. She didn't look like a basketball player and wasn't right for Monica. Union was so caught off guard, she challenged the director on the spot, essentially offering to walk onto a court right then to prove herself. Prince Bythewood didn't walk it back, but she offered Union something else. The role of Shawnee, Quincy's glamorous high school girlfriend who represents everything Monica is not. Union took it and made it count. Her line to Monica at the school dance about not knowing Nike made dresses became one of the film's most quoted moments. Sometimes the role that wasn't meant for you turns out to be exactly the right one. Number 5. UCLA rejected their own alumni love, and basketball is deeply personal. Prince Bythewood drew from her own experience as a track athlete at UCLA, and the original screenplay placed Monica and Quincy there. It was her alma mater, her story, the campus where she had balanced athletic and academic pressure. Naturally, she approached UCLA first when it was time to secure filming locations. UCLA's response was cold and unexplained. The administration declined to allow filming on campus, effectively turning away a successful graduate's passion project. No detailed reason was given. The rejection forced Prince Bythewood to find an alternative college setting from scratch. USC stepped in enthusiastically. The university opened its campus, basketball courts, dormitories, everything the production needed. The administration was cooperative throughout the entire shoot. The irony of USC welcoming a film UCLA turned away wasn't lost on anyone, but the result worked perfectly. USC's facilities gave the film exactly the visual identity it needed. Number 6. Stanford's snobbish response. The production also approached Stanford as a potential location. What came back was one of the most condescending rejections in Hollywood history. Stanford's administration reviewed the script, read the character descriptions, and announced that Monica and Quincy did not exemplify a Stanford student. A passionate, dedicated female basketball player and a talented athlete with NBA potential apparently failed to meet Stanford's standard. This from a university that actively recruits elite basketball talent for both its men's and women's teams. The rejection wasn't about the production's credentials, it was a judgment about the fictional characters themselves. The contrast with USC was stark. Stanford gatekept fictional characters. USC opened its doors. Stanford's response became a telling example of institutional image control and raised uncomfortable questions about which stories elite universities are willing to publicly associate with. Number 7. 700 auditions for one role. 700 auditions for a single role. That's not a casting process, that's an expedition. Prince Bythewood wasn't just looking for a good actress. She needed someone who could convincingly portray a lifelong basketball player while delivering a complex dramatic performance. The combination was almost impossibly rare. The pool was all over the map. Trained actors who had never touched a basketball, real players who couldn't deliver a line with feeling, and complete unknowns with neither background. Every candidate had to prove themselves on both dimensions. Actresses would nail an emotional scene, then fall apart when handed a ball. Players would dominate on the court, then deliver dialogue with the stiffness of someone reading a legal contract for the first time. Most directors would have compromised, cast a strong actress and work around the athletic sequences, or cast a real athlete and lean on editing. Prince Bythewood refused? That stubbornness drove a 700-person search, and is a core reason the film carries the credibility it does. Number 8. Basketball versus acting boot camp. After months of auditions, Prince Bythewood found herself with 2 finalists who were each perfect at exactly half the job. Sanaa Lathan, classically trained, master of fine arts from Yale Drama, had never seriously played basketball. Nisha Butler, the 1999 ACC Rookie of the Year from Georgia Tech, had 0 professional acting experience. Instead of simply choosing one, Prince Bythewood ran both through intensive parallel training, with no guarantee either would land the role. Lathan worked with LA Sparks coach Colleen Matsuhara through brutal daily workouts and was required to carry a basketball everywhere, including restaurants, to build the unconscious relationship with the ball that real players develop over years. Butler worked with an acting coach, learning script analysis and emotional access. Skills-trained actors spend years mastering. Both women competed for months, knowing only one would get the call. Prince Bythewood's commitment to this process reflects exactly why she was the right director for this film. She wasn't willing to let a deadline force a compromise she'd regret. Before we keep going, subscribe if you haven't yet. Drop a comment telling me which movie or show you want me to cover next with strange behind-the-scenes facts. I read every single one. Number 9. MPAA called the scene too real. When Love and Basketball was submitted for rating, the MPAA handed it an R, which would have cut off the exact audience Prince Bythewood was making the film. The issue wasn't nudity or explicit content. The board's complaint was stranger than that. The intimate scene between Monica and Quincy felt too real. The emotional authenticity and genuine chemistry between the characters made the intimacy more impactful than what the board was comfortable allowing at PG-13. Think about what that means. Stylized or sanitized depictions in other PG-13 films were fine. But when two characters connected in a way that felt genuinely human, the board treated it as more dangerous. Prince Bythewood fought back. Teenage girls needed to see this film without parental supervision. Monica's story was built specifically to show young female athletes they could pursue both professional and personal dreams. After an appeal and likely minor edits, she secured the PG-13 she needed. It stands as a reminder that authenticity in filmmaking isn't always rewarded, even when it should be. Number 10. Sanaa's basketball trauma. The moment filming wrapped, Sanaa Lathan made one decision. She would never touch a basketball again. That wasn't an offhand comment. She meant it completely. The preparation had been relentless. Basketball everywhere she went. Daily conditioning, strength training, hours of dribbling, shooting, and footwork, on top of delivering an emotionally demanding dramatic performance on camera. She also carried the psychological weight of competing against Nisha Butler, an actual professional, knowing her athletic performance was being evaluated against someone who had mastered those skills over years. When it was over, Lathan called the experience traumatic. She's proud of the film, but she closed that chapter definitively the day production wrapped. The performance she delivered is all the more impressive when you understand what it cost her. Number 11. Tyra Banks and the Flight Deal. Tyra Banks' casting as Kira, Quincy's flight attendant fiancée, looked like straightforward star power. It was also a financial strategy. Prince Bythewood later revealed that putting Banks specifically in a flight attendant role served a very practical second purpose. The film needed Barcelona footage showing Monica's European career. International travel is a serious budget pressure for a modestly funded production, but because a high-profile supermodel would appear in an authentic airline uniform in a studio film, the production could approach airlines with a legitimate product placement pitch. In exchange for the on-screen exposure, airlines provided discounted or donated travel for the cast and crew going to Europe. A potential budget problem became manageable. Prince Bythewood called it one of those rare cases where product placement aligned perfectly with both the story's needs and the production's constraints. The best decisions in independent filmmaking often do two jobs at once. This one absolutely did. Number 12. Director almost fired her own star years before production began. Prince Bythewood was developing the script at the Sundance Institute's directing lab. During staged readings, Sanaa Lathan was brought in to read Monica, and her performance was so flat that Prince Bythewood seriously considered replacing her on the spot. The reading was emotionless, restrained to the point of seeming disengaged. Prince Bythewood began mentally preparing to find someone else. What she didn't realize, she was watching a Yale-trained theater actor doing exactly what Yale training calls for at a table read. The MFA program at Yale Drama teaches that early readings are analytical, not performative. Actors explore the text without committing to emotional choices that might prematurely close off their interpretation. Prince Bythewood came from film and TV and expected something close to a finished performance. That gap nearly ended Lathan's involvement before the project was even greenlit. Fortunately, Prince Bythewood learned about the difference in approaches, gave Lathan another chance, and found the actress who made the film everything it became. Number 13. The WNBA didn't exist yet. When Prince Bythewood began writing Love and Basketball in the mid-1990s, she hit a storytelling problem with nothing to do with character or dialogue. Monica Wright's dream of playing professional basketball in the United States was literally impossible. The WNBA didn't exist yet. The original screenplay reflected that. The script ended with Monica and Quincy reconciling, but her professional ambitions stayed unfulfilled. No league existed for her. The story concluded with love restored and the basketball dream left hanging. A bittersweet ending where the film's two core promises couldn't fully coexist. Then in 1996, the WNBA was established. Prince Bythewood rewrote the ending completely. Monica could now become a professional player in America. The final film shows her in her WNBA uniform with Wright McCall on the jersey. She kept her name and took his. Prince Bythewood described the timing as almost magical, a real-world development in women's sports. Unlocked the ending she had always wanted to write but couldn't. Sometimes history rewrites the script for you. Quick reminder to subscribe if you are enjoying these revelations. And tell me in the comments, do you know any strange fact about this movie that I didn't mention? Let's build the list together. Number 14. Nisha Butler's gracious response. After months of training and real competition, Nisha Butler got the call she didn't want. She had lost the part to Sanaa Lathan. Multiple people inside the production acknowledged she was a genuine contender. This was not a long-shot rejection. Butler didn't respond with bitterness. When speaking about the experience years later, she praised Prince Bythewood as a filmmaker, acknowledged that Lathan had done an excellent job, and said something that went well beyond gracious. She stated that regardless of who got cast, she was simply glad a quality film about female basketball players had been made at all. She understood that representation of women's athletics in Hollywood was so rare that any serious film advancing the cause deserved celebration, even when it came at personal cost. Butler went on to express hope that Love and Basketball would open doors for more films about female athletes. That perspective, especially from someone sitting in real disappointment, reveals genuine character. It deserves far more recognition than it's ever received. Almost at the end, and the best is still coming. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next, and drop your city or country in the comments. I want to see how far this video is reaching. Bonus: the deleted scene that changes everything. Here's the one almost nobody talks about, and once you hear it, you'll never watch Kira's scenes the same way again. In the final cut, Tyra Banks' Kira appears as Quincy's devoted fiancée, standing loyally by him during his knee injury recovery. She reads as a genuine partner, which makes Quincy's decision to leave her feel morally complicated. You're meant to carry some sympathy for her. That ambiguity was intentional, but there was a scene that got cut. A pivotal piece of footage that would have completely changed your read on Kira, not as a victim of Quincy's unresolved feelings, but as someone who was never emotionally invested in the relationship to begin with. The deleted scene showed Kira privately revealing she had no genuine romantic attachment to Quincy whatsoever. She was with him for the financial security and social status of being engaged to a professional athlete, a calculated arrangement, not a love story. Prince Bythewood designed that scene to make Kira morally complex, fully aware she was entering a transactional relationship, not being blindsided by her fiancé's feelings. With that scene in, Quincy leaving her would have carried a completely different moral weight. You'd be watching him walk away from someone who was also using the situation. Prince Bythewood cut it because she felt it complicated the story more than it enriched it. She wanted the emotional focus to stay on Monica and Quincy. But the fact that scene exists shows how much darker and more layered this film could have been. A single cut separated the movie you know from a significantly different one, and those were 15 strange facts about love and basketball. This film matters more than people give it credit for. It arrived before the WNBA had its first generation of stars, before female athletes were regularly centered in Hollywood dramas, and before authentic sports filmmaking became expected. It earned its place as a classic because everyone involved refused to take the easy way out. If you made it this far, leave a like, subscribe, and drop a comment telling me which fact surprised you the most, and suggest another movie that deserves a list of strange facts. See you in the next video.